We want everything to be freaking roses and sunshine and beautiful rainbows, right? We love this game. We just want you to put our minds at ease. Please do that for us. Let this only be good news instead of it being scary and making us confused and worried, and I don't know what else. Let's get right into it, guys. We do have phenomenal news, and that is the game is back in the United States. So I'll show you right now. I can launch into the game. I have my VPN closed, and we're going to head right into Watcher of Realms. There's going to be a lot of positives in this video, but there's also going to be a lot of negatives because as it stands now, it's like, oh my God, pop the champagne, good news, the game is back. You can see it there, guys. However, there's so many question marks. So many question marks. I mean, right off the bat, a clear problem for anyone that thought maybe the game was gone and deleted it, removed it from their phone. It is not available in the Google Play Store still, and it is not available in the App Store for iOS. So that is a huge concern right out of the gate. Moreover, until it's there, we will not be able to partake in any updates if we don't have a store through which to install the update, right? So it's kind of getting passed off as there fully is a solution. You can see here in the official announcement yesterday evening, 7:21 p.m. my time. Great news. Watcher of Realms is officially back after a brief pause. We'll discuss this choice of words, brief pause, in a second. Simply open the app as usual. No additional action is needed. Jump right back into the fun. Thanks for your patience. Thrilled to have you back. There is additional action needed, right? Like if you didn't do anything in this very short interim, yes, there's nothing needed. But if you happen to remove the app from your phone, it's a big issue. You can't reinstall it till it's back on the Google Play Store and the App Store. When is that going to happen? We do not know. And then what are we going to do when we actually have to update the stuff, which, as we know, they're doing these micro updates all the time now, which is great because we get more diamonds as compensation. But that also means probably in the nearish future, we're going to have it in the store. So something right out of the gate, I just want to say, well, let's backtrack for 1 second. This is still phenomenal news. We can all play the game we love. For me, it's a big exhale, but don't think I am not concerned, and don't think you guys aren't concerned. I'm going to show you a lot of community discourse throughout Discord and Facebook and in the YouTube comments. I think part of the reason I want to make this video is to share the great news with you. As of now, the game is officially back, at least for this short term, but I also want to maybe instill the idea of the reality we're living in to the developers, that people are not 100% happy and they do not have consumer confidence right now, at least in America. But I see a lot of international players being like, hey, can this just happen anywhere now? And should we be confident in this game? And should we be spending? I mean, if we look over here, right, there was no announcement leading up to the game getting revoked. Whether you think they knew for weeks and it was super malicious, whether you think they found out last minute and were scrambling, I'm not going to comment on that. You guys know kind of how I feel. I think it's sincerely likely at least most people didn't know, so we don't need to point our fingers at Dev Contacts or Batista Mancher or probably anyone even on the Watcher of Realms team. I mean, it all goes above and above and above. Even for Moonton, Watcher of Realms isn't that important, right? Their most important thing is Mobile Legends Bang Bang by a mile. But you can see here at 8:39 p.m. my time, Saturday night, January the 18th, that's when all of a sudden, you know, the Watcher of Realms world snapped in half because the game was just deleted or disappeared in America. And if we go down here, you can see it returned. Where is it? Right here at 7:21 p.m. So it was about 47 hours right? So to call it a brief pause, I do think it's underselling the situation, even though 2 days isn't that long. I will say straight up over here, saying it was only temporarily suspended for January 19th is just a lie, right? For anyone in America, essentially it was gone for all of the 19th and the 20th. But not to get too much into semantics, I guess the key thing I want to dig in here is just the tone. It feels like they thought they didn't owe us more communication than this at the beginning. Oh my God, due to circumstances, alarm emoji, not a big deal. Then just they promote normal stuff because they're like, hey, 2/3 of our player base can still play it. Why should we be worrying? And then, oh, look, it's back. There you go. Thrilled to have you back. That's kind of it. It was a brief blip. You know, I did talk about how we might look back at this as the weird 2 days, but it's clearly more than that, right? It really is. I actually think I want to open up. I've got a lot of things I want to show you. I want to show you direct correspondence I sent to our dev contact last night when I got some more news from her, which wasn't really news. It wasn't anything different than what I've already told you guys or what you guys are kind of seeing publicly anyway. Basically, nothing was different. So I was like, all right, I want updates on these things. And then she was like, I'll let you know. I said, let me know. And then I kind of tried to sum this up and tried to just be really, really honest, the same way I try to be honest with you guys. I said, people are happy the game is up, but also very disappointed with the response and also a little worried it will just be gone again in 90 days. I said, I will also say for me personally, I'm thrilled it is back. And I am, right, guys? Because I was scared for my job a little bit. I mean, I'm confident in my abilities or whatever on YouTube, but I mean, this is having like the whole carpet yanked from under me. I said, I'm thrilled it's back, but I'm quite concerned long term. The lack of communication has me worried. I actually had user acquisition representatives from both Raid Shadow Legends and King Arthur Legends Rise reach out and call me yesterday. And that's true. I had 2 long calls. And that's not really me to threaten them. It's just saying, hey, this is the reality of what happened. Like all the other games were freaking out that were affected. Here's Marvel Snap. We'll talk about that in a second. And even games that weren't affected, like Raid and King Arthur, knew how much it must be affecting us and creators like me. And they reached out to see if they could get me on their game or something. And I feel like Moonton, not to make it personal, but was kind of like, this is no big deal. January 19th, it's just a second. There's a lot we have to talk about. So let's keep the ball moving. I just wanted to really show you how transparent I'm trying to be with this whole thing. So Marvel Snap is back. Why is Marvel Snap relevant? Marvel Snap is owned by Nuverse. Well, actually, it's run by a company called Second Diner, which is owned by Nuverse. So it's the same umbrella as us, because Nuverse is owned by ByteDance. We're owned by Nuverse. Nuverse owns Moonton, operates Watcher of Realms. All right, we're on the same page. Look how they've been dealing with it. Keep in mind, their community managers have been giving constant news through the whole 2 days saga. And then they announced publicly, whether it's true or not, they said it. They put their neck on the line. They said, we had no idea. We actually had no idea. This was their developers tweeting this. We didn't hear anything like that from Watcher Realms. I think they had no idea. I feel like if they had an idea, well, I guess if they had an idea, they wouldn't tell us. But I think if Marvel Snap didn't know, they probably didn't know. But you can see after Trump signed the order, which I guess we should talk about very quickly. Also, guys, in this video, you are not going to hear me talk about the player compensation. Quite frankly, I was disappointed in it, and I sent some suggestions to Moonton, which they received, I think, pretty positively. So I'm waiting to cover that in a separate video until once I've heard their feedback officially, and once we see if they're going to do anything else. So hopefully I get that confirmation tonight, or I get that news tonight, and that video comes out tomorrow or the next day. This is updated recently, but this was originally yesterday evening, January the 20th. Several hours after the inauguration, you can see President Trump signed an executive order on Monday to delay the enforcement of a federal ban of TikTok for 75 days, so for 2.5 months. If we go over here, you can see the only workaround provided by the law that caused this whole thing to happen, is that a 90-day extension could be granted if a likely buyer is found. Likely buyer meaning a buyer that would lead to a significant enough divestiture from TikTok, specifically TikTok. This is all about TikTok in the end, that it would no longer be 50% owned by China, and ideally, according to President Trump, 50% owned or more by Americans. So you can see realistically, we've got 75 days, 2.5 months for a new buyer to come to maybe buy ByteDance, but also might just buy TikTok, so then it doesn't affect us. And if that happens, there's another 3-month, 90-day grace period. So immediate good news, it's possible after this 75-day and then potentially an extra 90 days, if they're lining up a buyer, that in that time, the government will become clear on how they intend to enforce this legislation, and maybe it will only apply to TikTok and social media apps, not to games, and we'll be in the clear. But that also might not happen. And then worst case scenario, where TikTok actually gets sold, but not ByteDance on the whole. So we're still just sitting here affected. TikTok gets their get out of jail free card, but Moonton and Watcher Realms is screwed. We don't know what's going to happen. We really need some assurances. We check back in with Marvel Snap. They get it. Their community's freaking out the way we are, right? They're like, all right, so you're back. This is what the Marvel Snap fans are saying, the Marvel Snap players. All right, so you're back. What does that mean for us? It's a 75-day grace period, and then if somehow Nuverse is going to get purchased or offloaded, then it's 90. But we're playing this game long-term. They spend money just like you guys, right? So this is what they went out of their way to say. This is like their official announcement from their Twitter. Marvel Snap is back. Marvel Snap is back online in the United States, but to make sure this never happens again, we're working to bring more services in-house. If you don't know, Second Diner, like their Moonton, right, their developer that is owned by Nuverse, the same way our developer Moonton is owned by Nuverse, is based in California. So they're like, we're going to bring more stuff to California, more things on American soil, so you don't have to be worried about these geopolitics. And then on top of that, they're working on partnering with a new publisher. So maybe leaving Nuverse altogether. They're really going out of their way, making a huge effort beyond just the work of community managers on Discord and Reddit and Twitter and whatever. The devs are actually saying, we're going to make sure this can never happen again. We know this probably leaves you with even more questions than answers. We appreciate your patience, but in the meantime, enjoy playing Marvel Snap. We'll continue to update you. So to me, that goes a lot farther than this. You know, this is just saying, all right, nothing happened. We're back to normal. Because a lot of stuff happened. And even at this moment, like I said, we're not back to normal. So let's talk about what you guys are saying. So shout out to Jesus Rees, who made a cool comment here summarizing. And you're going to see so many of similar things are being said on Facebook. This is from the official Facebook group. And thank you to Viceroy for sharing a lot of these screenshots with me. You'll see Meta AI. Is that on the next picture? Let me show you. Meta AI is starting to do synopses of what's going on because so many of you guys are sharing similar sentiments. So this goes on to say, Moonton, if you are monitoring, this is the feeling out there. Never. I will never forgive them. There's nothing they can do. I will never spend 1 cent in the game again. I used to spend liberally because I love the game and had a high level of loyalty. Now I have no loyalty to the game and no investment on its survival. So I won't use real money to support it anymore. I will play, and as I lose interest, I will get more involved in other games where I have more active guilds with a more vibrant community. We do have a vibrant community. I don't think you can take that away from us. After the lack of warning and the bot displays when the US was down, I lost all trust in the company. By Dragonair, I mean Watcher of Realms. That's the sentiment. That's what Jesus Reyes is sharing. And you can see similar thing in the comments. Here's the top rated comment from Josh Parisian. Yeah, the lack of communication and letting people spend money up until the very end was slimy. I'm still trying to figure out the bot thing. Was it to keep everything high in the App Store? If you guys don't know what they're talking about with bots, I haven't covered it because there's not so much to say, but this is what the whole chat has looked like nonstop. I mean, Moonton, are we supposed to expect, like, are we expected to believe that all these level 4, 5, and 6 accounts, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just saying, what is this supposed to look like to us? They're all with Chinese new player IDs and American flags. While it was down in America, everyone's the same, right? Well, actually, every account's different, but it's all the same story. They all seem like new body accounts between level 4 and level 6, and they're all just ripping summons. Sorry, Manny, didn't mean to click on you there. So this is a lot of comments about this. I'm not gonna make a whole video on it, but I told people I'd comment on it. So there you go, I'm commenting on it. It goes back for days now. It's like nonstop with as far as back as anything these things go. You can check on your own servers. It's very bizarre, right? So there's distrust in the community. And Moonton, I'm not trying to start a controversy. I'm not trying to point my finger at you or anything. I am trying to, you know, you like when I share community sentiment. I'm trying to clearly package this sentiment for you because this is how the players are feeling. Let's go to the next here. Anonymous participant, war is back online in the US, but the Moonton website is still down. Website's up now. However, you can't download the game from the website, and you also can't make purchases right now in the Play Store or the App Store. So you can only make purchases through W Gold, which is questionable. You know, it is what it is, but it's questionable. And you can see here, well, this sucks. This is actually older, but it's saying it sucks that, you know, it affects everybody, not just Americans. Let's continue on. This is where we get some interesting stuff. Robert Butler says, wow, they clearly know there's a major problem for the biggest portion of their game. This is even after the fix and the game went live. And they're continuing to push forward the Bubba stuff and everything. They won't even delay a major release we've all been waiting for until things are figured out. They must clearly know it's not going to be fixed. I don't know about this. I'm sure it's coming back to the App Store and Google Play Store and stuff. But it is, you know, I'm just even looking out for Moonton's interests. If you're trying to make money, player confidence is low right now. People are less likely to spend. If you want to cash in on this banner, which people are going to go nuts for, try to communicate more and instill more, you know, consumer confidence, player confidence. Another one from Jesus Reyes, very prolific on Facebook. He's kind of summing up this thing over here that I read you at the beginning that he posted. Our discussions garner a Meta AI clarification. Keep the discussion going. They will listen. By the way, Meta is involved in the tick dance, bite dance, so on and so on. He's basically talking about this. Meta did a synopsis of everything that's being said. It's pretty funny to read. Players express frustration and disappointment towards Moonton's handling of the game's temporary ban in the United States, citing lack of communication and trust. Some vow to stop spending money, while others defend the company, noting the ban was beyond their control. Mixed emotions prevail with calls for better communication and transparency. So let's take the good and the bad from this, right, Moonton, and all you guys watching. Players are thrilled the game's back. Even Meta's noticing that. I'm thrilled. It's such good news. I don't want that to get buried in a video like this. I don't want this video to come too negative, but I want this video to be constructive. So many people feel like you've lost their trust and they feel betrayed and they feel like the response right now is inadequate. So they're concerned and they might not spend money, which, you know, we love the game, but that's what we're doing here, right? You guys are trying to earn money. So if you guys want that, you have to communicate with us better, please. Let's continue on now to Discord. This was one of the Discord suggestions from the past few hours. It's by Bones over here. I believe there is a lot of mistrust with what happened over the weekend with the sudden withdrawal of your game in the United States of America. Some questions need to be answered. And this is kind of a key thing. We have so many questions and we've received so little communication. At this point, by the time this video comes out, it will have been 72 hours, like 3 full days. And what do we really know? We were somehow affected by the ByteDance thing, and now it's somewhat resolved, so it's somewhat back, but we have no idea if we could be affected again in the future. We have no idea when things will be fully back. We have no idea how secure we can feel in the game, right? So here you go from Bones. Will it happen again? What's stopping it from happening again? Will you withdraw the game in other countries without notice in the future? Some people spend a lot of money on this game, and for that to be ripped away from them without notice isn't what you'd expect from a reputable company. And likely, we need assurances to start spending again. This isn't going to be for every player, but it's going to be for a significant chunk of the player base, right? Whether that's a majority or minority, it will be a significant number of players. Now, a couple key comments from YouTube on my most recent video I thought I would highlight. You can see from Carp Dominion, ultimately, I'm most upset because it seems like other games developers are actually talking to their community. If all this passes and just becomes a rocky point in history, then I think as players, we need to start demanding communication from Moonton going forward in the future. Moonton seems to have cultivated a feeling of uncertainty in the player base for the past few months that needs to be addressed. Also, thanks for reading the Reddit comment. Apparently, he's one of the people I shouted out from Reddit. This guy's got some good comments and he's prolific. You can see a response here from Doro626. I think these foreign-based companies really don't know what it is to do business with Americans. So maybe Americans are too entitled or what, but I will say the communication we're used to from games and from businesses and from services that we spend money for is very different than what we get in this game. And I think it's kind of teetering on the edge. I think the response to this, the continued response over the next few days, Moonton, is really going to inform how these players choose to spend or no longer spend their money in the game. You can see, you have to let us know what you're doing if we're spending money. Raid seems to be the only game that can treat players like crap and they eat it up and smile. That's actually not true. So with Raid Shadow Legends, they have crazy player turnover, but they just have such incredible marketing. They get enough people that truly love the game and do smile and do whatever this guy's saying. But also anyone that doesn't like it leaves and they replace them. Raid is such a bigger game than this, right? Their marketing budget's huge. They're so much more well established. They can get away with this stuff better. At least that's the point I think Doro's trying to make. You can see here a simple post saying they were unsure what would happen with the TikTok ban would have gone a long way towards solving this. I'm likely never going to spend another dime on Watch of Realms, and I was probably hovering. So it's just not an incredible look. And then here's one final comment from Viceroy01827. You can see a lot of us are on the fence of whether or not we will be around much longer. I was planning on dropping a good chunk of cash for Beelzebub this weekend. That plan is now so on hold, it's not even funny. How they handle this is going to be my answer on whether or not I'm going to spend another dollar. We are losing a huge amount of our player base here in the US. We have Chinese bots going nuts, summoning over hundreds of accounts. The thing I showed you briefly, just a long string of things with this game we love. And then here we got Rokon saying, it really is crazy seeing with all those bots. And the bots are weird as hell, right? It's just bizarre. So to wrap things up, we should all be thrilled. If you love the game like I do, you should be over the moon that the game is back. But if you truly love the game and want to keep playing it, we can't just think this is over. I want it to be over. I want to move forward. I don't want to be taking calls with other games and stuff, even though maybe I should, just for, my own professional, the professional health of my company, right? I need to diversify. I think that was a big wake-up call for me the past few days. But you know what I'm saying? I want to keep all my focus on Watch of Realms. And let me tell you guys now, if I do start covering another game, it will be in addition to Watch of Realms. There's no way I'm leaving. I'm not trying to tell that to you guys or threaten Moonton with that in any way. But I will say this is only on my mind because of what's going on here with the communication. And as you can see here, a lot of players are feeling similarly. Like we want you, Moonton, we want you to make us feel confident so we don't have to worry. We don't want to whine. Contrary to what a couple commenters on YouTube or Discord will say, we don't want to whine. We want everything to be freaking roses and sunshine and beautiful rainbows, right? We love this game. We just want you to put our minds at ease. Please do that for us. Let this only be good news instead of it being scary and making us confused and worried and I don't know what else. I just really hope you're hearing what I'm saying. Players, I hope this is an interesting video to you and let me know if you feel similarly. This is phenomenal news, but this is not all the news we need. We need more communication and we need reassurance that this could never happen again. The final thought I want to say, so many people are saying, Fastidious, you douchebag American. You think America's the only country in the world? Only Americans play this game? No. But look at Dragonair. Dragonair is dead. Completely dead. What changed with Dragonair? They lost their American audience. That is it. The game closed in America. A third of revenue for Watch of Realms comes from America. And a big growth market for them is America. The game won't die as quickly as Dragonair, but the game will no longer be the same thing and will eventually die without the American market. At least that's what I think, and we've seen it, empirically from what has happened with other games like Dragonair. So thank you guys for watching. Moonton, if you guys watched, I'm sending this to you. So I really hope you watch too. All in all, good news, but boy, give us some answers so we can move on and just be happy and love the game we love. Thank you. I've been Fastidious. I'll see you guys real soon. Share with your mother. Goodbye.
Fastidious.